of all, that vote is fake as f. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings.
Cowboy Carter, Beyonce.
Culture is competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like
Right.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what I went through with Joe.
Welcome back to your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Let's spill the tea on today's hottest drama. This ain't just industry smoke anymore. This is starting to feel like a full-blown inferno. 50 Cent is calling Jay-Z out, saying he's still out here pulling strings and blocking his business moves like it's a chess game he refuses to lose. And then there's Eminem, who's been dropping cryptic warnings in his lyrics for years, not just about shady deals or fake friends, but about powerful figures lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings behind closed doors. But the whispers don't stop there. Beyonce's name just got dragged into the storm, and not for something light. She's facing bold accusations of jacking songwriting credits and allegedly helping to blackball other female artists in the game. You keep hearing the same names pop up: Aaliyah, Mia, Mary J. Blige, Carrie Hilson, women who were climbing fast, then suddenly vanished from the mainstream spotlight. Coincidence or something darker? And let's not forget that messy web connecting Jay and Bey. Jay-Z may have dodged that lawsuit filed by Jane Doe.
Look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They harbor it, right? But when you look at M is looking at the entire legacy,
Yeah.
the whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a Shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so much G-Unit Records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's artist.
But now the alleged victim's coming forward again, this time hinting she was pressured into silence. Her words: "When you're not competing anymore and you start looking around, you realize." So what was the problem? That line alone gave people chills. So now the question is, have Jay and Bey stayed at the top by stepping over other people's careers or even their pain? And are 50 Cent and Eminem finally exposing the machine that's been wrecking lives in the name of power and fame? For years, nobody dared question Jay and Bey. Say one word against them, you'd get slammed as a bitter hater. But now, that fear's wearing off, and the silence is breaking loud. That shiny, polished image of Jay and Bey, it's starting to crumble. And leading the charge with zero hesitation are 50 Cent and Eminem. They're pulling the curtain wide open on the so-called king and queen of the music world. Jay-Z and them was putting it together beige. So I think I harbor some energy towards me, 50 said. When asked if he felt like he was purposely left out of the Super Bowl ad, the answer came loud and clear. And this time,
I knew what old boy was doing, right, with the Super Bowl, because he was doing like,
Yeah, go
he
ahead.
was doing some wild, because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me, and I'm like, well, what's the issue? I don't have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance. Right? Makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says "oh boy," for the audience that
Yeah, it's
don't know,
Jay.
talking about Jay-Z, this was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they
Right.
had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think,
Threatened?
yeah,
Possibly?
not even threat. I think it's just when you take the competition from, like, our culture is competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, you're not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he wanted to be on the top 10 or top 5.
Right.
And you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even, like a lot of the, even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? It changed, that terminology changed when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment.
Right.
When before that, they called it battling in our culture.
Right.
Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what
50 brought receipts. Back in 2023, he dropped a bombshell, claiming Jay-Z tried to block him from performing at the Super Bowl by using his ties with the NFL. Wild, right? But here's the kicker. That whole power move backfired hard, because Eminem wasn't having any of it. He told the NFL straight up, no 50, no Slim Shady. That one line flipped everything. It showed how far Jay was allegedly willing to go just to keep 50 out of the spotlight, and how M stood his ground like a real one. Fast forward to 50's recent interview on Talk with Flea with Cameron, and he's doubling down. This is why I was saying, I knew what old boy was doing with the Super Bowl. He was like, yeah, go ahead.
There. Dre Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars, seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No,
But behind the scenes, he was doing some wild stuff. He told Eminem the NFL had a problem with me. And here's where it gets even messier. 50 says Jay's already got all the accolades and status, but he's still allegedly trying to sabotage his deals, just out of spite. That's not ambition. That's something personal. Then in the middle of the chaos, 50 gave a shout out to Dre. Dre, Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, you showed us we could be rock stars. Respect where it's due, but make no mistake, this isn't over yet. When Beyoncé finally snagged Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, not everyone was cheering. A lot of fans felt something didn't sit right. Whispers started flying fast.
Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big.
That maybe Jay-Z had pulled strings again, especially since just a year before, he got on that Grammy stage and called out the Recording Academy for constantly snubbing Beyoncé. One fan even asked, but do you feel like you had to sell your soul to get him? The whole vibe around the win felt off. And instead of silencing critics, it only made the rumors louder. People started wondering, are the Carters really making history with pure talent? Or is it blackmail, power plays, and big money behind the scenes? And 50 Cent? He's been in that same dirty game before. He never forgot when he lost Best New Artist at the Grammys, even though, in his words, there was nothing bigger than me, nothing bigger. He wasn't just blowing smoke either. People agreed. The only one who had an entrance like that before was maybe Snoop. That loss hit hard, and 50 kept his word. He never showed up again. But let's be clear, this ain't about being a sore loser. Eminem put it perfectly. He said, if another artist really dropped a better album, no problem, he'd give them their props.
50, same. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever, I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I.
But what really sets him off is how the Grammys use artists like him. They hype him up, flash his name in every promo, and make it look like he's the front runner, just to drag in viewers. Then boom, Showtime hits, and he's left with nothing, like he was never even part of the race. All smoke and mirrors. And when someone asked M if joining the voting committee would change anything, he didn't even blink. He said nope, it wouldn't matter at all. Why? Because in his own words, the whole thing's rigged in those votes. They don't mean a damn thing. That's how Eminem summed up the Grammys. And 50 Cent? He's riding with him all the way, taking the shots even further. He didn't just say the Grammys were rigged. He said Jay-Z's wins aren't even about the music anymore. Straight up accused the system of being all smoke and mirrors.
You know, joining the board and maybe you have a vote in it.
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. Oh, this got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. Like, it ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to Lada Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. It's only Lada Dottie.
Consider joining the board, they said. Maybe then you'll have a vote. And 50 clapped back. First of all, that vote's fake. It's all a big flashy game. The cameras roll, ratings shoot through the roof, and the whole thing goes viral. So what's the real strategy? Keep nominating the same names, keep handing them trophies, just to make sure the power couple keeps showing up. 50 even broke it down. Jay started stacking Grammys like never before, right after getting with Beyonce. What did he have? 16? 17 wins since being with her? And if you look before that, way less. The numbers don't lie. He even hinted their relationship might be about more than love. Maybe it's about the brand, the image, the power. When Jay signed that contract, the big one was with Beyonce, 50 said. And after that, those trophies came rolling in, buddy. Wild, right? But the shade didn't stop there. 50 claimed Jay and Bey didn't just climb to the top, they blocked other artists from rising too. Why? So nobody could outshine them. So they stay the faces of success, untouched, unchallenged. And then there's the story that really shook people. Beyonce's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron. Before he passed from pneumonia, he spoke out, said he had receipts, proof that Jay and Bey crushed careers, ruined lives, and wiped out rising stars, all just to protect their own throne. Let's pause for a second and talk about Big L, a name that still rings heavy in hip-hop. The very first time anyone saw or heard Jay-Z spit a rhyme in public, it wasn't on some superstar stage. Nah, he pulled up to a street MC battle in New York, standing right next to Big L. Rest in peace to one of the realest. Big L had the whole city buzzing. He scored a deal with Columbia Records and dropped a debut album that made serious noise. Even after Columbia dropped him, he wasn't about to fold. He launched his own label, made major moves on the underground scene, and people started paying real attention. That's when Dame Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller, noticed the heat he was building. Big L was finally lining up for the win, but right before it all took off, tragedy hit. February 15th, 1999, Big L was shot and killed in a drive-by in Harlem. Just like that, gone. And here's the most chilling part. To this day, the case is still unsolved. No arrests, no closure, no peace. And some folks think that's no coincidence. Jaguar Wright, she's not holding back. She believes Jay-Z might have had something to do with what happened to Big L. That's the level of suspicion floating around. It's not just about rap beef, it's about trust, betrayal, and the streets never forgetting. Now let's shift to another heavyweight, DMX. One of the very few who ever had the guts to call Jay-Z out directly. DMX always said Jay had a jealous streak, that he didn't like sharing the spotlight. And when Jay got named president of Def Jam in 2004, everything changed. DMX had been carrying Def Jam for years. 5 straight #1 albums between '98 and '03. He was the heart of the label. But when it came time to drop his 6th album, Year of the Dog, that's when the real tension started. Things behind the scenes started getting messy, and fast. Back in 2005, DMX dropped a track that shook the table, the industry. And in it, he went all in, exposing the shady deals, fake alliances, and twisted power plays happening behind the scenes. The craziest part, almost everything he called out back then, is still happening today. Game is bull, man. The game is bull, he said. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. That line hit different. Then there's Beanie Siegel. He's owned up to his own mistakes, especially the legal drama that followed him. But when it comes to Jay-Z, Beanie made one thing real clear. Jay's shady moves weren't by accident. He said every single move Jay made was calculated, cold, strategic, all part of a bigger plan. And don't think Beyoncé's just a bystander in all of this. Some fans still try to paint her as Jay's puppet, like she's just standing in the background while he runs the show. But let's be real, that narrative doesn't fly anymore. There's no way she's been by his side for decades without being part of the machine. If anything, they've been running it together. And allegedly, anyone who gets in their way gets removed from the picture. One person spilled the tea like this: I don't think one man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. But when those decisions are shaped by fear, pressure, and behind-the-scenes manipulation, that changes everything. Let's take it back to Anne Marie's hit One Thing. That track had a vibe so close to Crazy in Love that fans couldn't help but raise eyebrows. Some even believe Beyoncé copied the entire formula after producer Rich Harrison switched teams. Coincidence or calculated move? Then you've got Carrie Hilson, who went from rising star to industry ghost after a clash with Beyoncé that spiraled fast. Word on the street is that Carrie's own producers allegedly set her up, convincing her to record what turned out to be a diss track aimed straight at Bey. She didn't even realize what was happening until it was too late, and by then, the damage had started. Carrie denied it at first, but things got worse when she refused to pose with a magazine cover that featured Beyoncé and Jay-Z. That one moment sparked a new wave of backlash, and her career took another hit. Years later, in a 2020 interview, Carrie finally spoke out. She admitted she was pressured into making the track and revealed the threats she got afterward were 100% real. This wasn't just a public feud, it was career sabotage, hiding behind the spotlight. And don't forget about Kellis. She didn't hold back at all when Beyoncé sampled her iconic song, Milkshake, without credit, without notice, and definitely without respect. Kellis called it what it was, theft. But for her, it went deeper than just music. It was about principle. She said it straight. There aren't many black women in the industry, and with all the mutual friends and personal connections, Bey could have just picked up the phone. It's not that hard to contact me, Kellis said. It's just common decency. And when you put all these stories together, it paints a picture that's way too familiar and way too quiet until now. But instead of stepping up or offering even a basic apology, Beyoncé just quietly removed the Kelly sample and kept it moving. No statement, no accountability, just silence. And that silence, it spoke volumes. Then there's Maya, a name that deserves more shine, but barely gets mentioned anymore. And not because of a lack of talent. The rumor? She got blackballed after allegedly turning down Jay-Z's advances. Yeah, it gets that messy. Mia's opened up in interviews, saying straight up, the industry is filled with powerful people who abuse their status. And young, hungry artists? They often get put in risky situations just trying to chase a dream. For Mia, the key was simple. She said no and walked away. But that decision came with a heavy price. She hinted that after rejecting the wrong person, her reputation took a hit, and her career slowly faded into the background. It wasn't a natural fall-off. It felt intentional. So now that you've heard the full picture, look at how many names have stepped forward or been caught in the storm. 50 Cent, Eminem, Kellis, Maya, Jaguar Wright, DMX, Beanie Siegel, and that's just scratching the surface. So the real question stands, are Jay-Z and Beyoncé just defending their throne like any power couple would? Or are they actively shutting down competition behind closed doors to stay on top? And this list, it's far from finished. If there's someone you think got silenced, sidelined, or mysteriously disappeared, drop their name in the comments. Let's keep the convo going. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.